Good morning, beautiful ladies and wonderful gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, beautiful ladies and wonderful gentlemen. What up? How's it going? Yeah, it's a beautiful day today, right? I think so. I don't know. I'm just getting up. Time to get busy. Time to get busy. Let's do some exercise, folks. Let's work out them bones. Work out your bones, folks. Drink you some juice. Do something positive. Get yourself in the right mindset. I think I'm going with a hat. You already know I like my hats. Call me LL. Call me LL. Let's bring this over a little bit. Bam. Okay. Let me get some of this stuff off there. Let's flip that down there. Let's get you down there. Let's get you down there. All right. There we go. Now we situated. Make sure no dandruff flakes is on the shirt. Gotta make sure no dandruff flakes is on your black shirts, okay, folks? If you're having dandruff on your shirts, get the dandruff off. What up, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen? You have Don M-TheeFDMGBoogieman in the house. Also, aka the ultimate trolling warrior. I love Dusty Don because Dusty Don's always that character that's always in the house. Also, Icy Don, he's about to be working today, you know? So, we got a good one today because we're going to be talking about our timeline. You know, if you was born in the 50s, if you was born in the 60s, if you was born in the 70s, saying what timeline suits you. Shout out to you. Yo, folks, you know what I'm saying? Yo, please, when you tap in, there's not too many people here right now because zero. But when you do tap in, hit the like button for me. You know what I'm saying? What time is it? It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I was supposed to did this one at 6:30, but I said, let me cut the hair real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let me give it a quick shave so I, stop picking at the little gray hairs, I'm seeing gray hairs pop up and I'm picking at them. So I said, let me shave my hair, give myself a little cut, you know what I'm saying? So it looked a little clean. I know I gotta clean it up again, but I was rushing real quick so I can hurry up and do this live stream. I want to do this live stream because it's kind of important. Because we're about to get into this inauguration day, March. It's gonna be an annual, not annual, but every 4 years. So we looking to make this really jump. And for some reason, we living in a time frame where a lot of folks don't want to see you rise up. They rather see you decline like a slope, like a slippery slope. So a lot of folks rather see you go down the hill, you know what I'm saying, as opposed uphill. But you know what? We're gonna keep on moving, we're gonna keep on climbing, we're gonna make it to the top. But the only way we're gonna make it to the top, folks, is when we realize that we are at the bottom. And when I say we at the bottom, we are realistically, when I look at the timeline, I'm like, you know what, this seems to me like the worst time in our history because when I go back to the 1950s all the way to the 2020s, I'm saying what time frame was we at our best? What time frame was we at our best? So let's look at the little time frames real quick. I'm gonna give you the breakdown of the time frames. You know what I'm saying? Good morning to you folks. Thank you for tapping in early this morning. We got a little nice live stream because we talk about our timeline. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna break it down from like the 1950s all the way to the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? 1950 to 2000. And which bracket, which time slot do you fit in where it's your character? I think about my character, and I remember when I was sitting in school, and what moved me was watching the civil rights movements, and what moved me was, being around my father. What moved me was, being in the neighborhood I lived in, and everyone called my father Pops. So what moved me might not move you because you might not have grown up with your father. You know what I'm saying? So you might not have paid attention in school when you was in history class and social studies and things like that, but really it's history. Because you know what I'm saying? It took me differently, and it might have taken you some type of way as well. But what time frame took you to become who you are? So let's break it down. So I got 1950s, you know what I'm saying? I got the 1950s. And then I got the 1960s. But the 1950s was more so the civil rights movement, the beginning of the civil rights movement. The 1960s was more so the hippie movement. The 1970s was the rise of women's rights. The 1980s was the rise of music and entertainment. The 80s was very important. Okay, and I'm about to break everything down so you can really understand, you know, why, how, and why we're in this situation. You know, so, but, yo, look, there's 0 people here, so because there's 0 people here, let me get my 50 push-ups real quick, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm liking the way my chest is looking in this shirt. So I'm gonna do quick 50 push-ups. I'll be right back, you heard? I wait for you guys to get into the building, get into the house. But you know what I'm saying, as you're waking up, get your exercise on, you know, get your bones moving, drink you some coffee, drink you some tea, drink you some cocoa, drink you some hot ginger water or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Mix with some lemons. Do what you gotta do, get your mind right. But real quick, I'm gonna bang up my 50 push-ups real quick because I love to bang my push-ups in real quick. Look, I broke my arm, you know what I'm saying? See that? That's a break in the arm. That was a car accident. I had a car accident and I was driving and I almost flew out the windshield, but this arm right here saved me. So we're gonna do these push-ups. So just in case that happens again, this arm can save me. I need that strength, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do 50 push-ups, you do some jumping jacks, do some sit-ups, do a quick workout with me real quick, all right? All right. And then I'm gonna get to this message because I'm talking about the 1950s to the 2000s, okay? You gotta remember that the 1950s was very important. Because the 1950s sparked when the civil rights movement started, 1954. And then it went to the 60s, and the 60s was ugly. Get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, drink you something warm. Don't walk around looking like yesterday, though. Do I look like yesterday? Don't walk around looking like yesterday. If you're a woman and you're single, don't walk around looking like yesterday. Not cool. If you got black on, wipe it off, because you might have dirt and dandruff, you know what I'm saying? And that shit stands out. Whew. Good morning, beautiful ladies. We're doing a breakdown. We're doing a breakdown, our timeline. I'm breaking it down from the 50s all the way to right now, present day. And I want to know what slot you fit in. What makes you your character? Like I said, when I was growing up, reading, paying attention, I really kind of got intrigued with the civil rights movement. And I got so intrigued with the civil rights movement, I wanted to be one of those people. I wanted to be back in those times. I really wish I was born like in the 50s so I could have been alive in the 60s as a young man. So I could have been like, you know what I'm saying, Fred Hampton. He was 21. I like Fred Hampton because Fred Hampton was 21 years of age. He was young. He was very intelligent, carefree. And he really, truly was about that life. I love Fred Hampton. I love Fred Hampton, his character. Power to the people. See how they woke up early morning before they passed out their newspapers and did their routine? They worked out. And so when you get up in the morning, try and get into a little routine of working out because it makes your blood move and makes you feel better. So I'm breaking it down, like I said, from the 50s to the present day. So when I look at the 50s, we had the civil rights movement. When I look at the 60s, we had the civil rights movement slash the hippie movement. Now you gotta understand how they really was trying to knock us down, knock out our movements. So they had to do counter movements to knock out our movements. Our movements was moving towards freedom. Our movements was actually moving towards revolution. Our movements was moving towards fight the power that be. But you know what I'm saying? They know how to trick and fight us back. And it's beautiful. This is a war that once you understand how it is, it's like tennis. It's like ping pong. It's like Forrest Gump. And playing that ping pong. And once you understand that we playing constant ping pong like Forrest Gump, we have to have counter reactions. And if we don't have nothing, we make a move and then they make 12 moves. And yo folks, they know how to fight us back. And so we might have a movement and then our movement be about this big, but they have a counter movement that's like Pac-Man that kills it, okay? And so we have to understand how every time we get going with something, they just put a Pac-Man and gobble it up. And we all become ghosts running around. Ghost. That's why I guess y'all like that show, Power, because you be Ghost. You know what I'm saying? You like the character Ghost because you like to be out. Well, I'm the boogeyman, and I'm telling you, I'm here to scare the problem. We here, folks. So we talk about the 50s, the 60s, the hippie movement. The hippie movement is sick because they got the hippie movement back again, folks. Once you understand this timeline, you understand that history keeps repeating itself. It just repeats itself differently. Jimi Hendrix was the hippie movement then. Diddy's the hippies movement now. You know what I'm saying? Jimi Hendrix was the man back then to keep the hippie movement going. Sean Combs was the hipster this time around. But let's get into it because I need you to understand. Then we had the 70s. The 70s was very, very spooky because the 70s was when they started giving power to the people. They started giving jobs to the people. They started giving you the feminist movement. So the 70s represented the second wave of this feminist movement, the women's rights, the gay rights, the identity politics. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of things that was going on in the 70s to make mass confusion for the people so they can't keep the movement going. Like I said, we breaking down the timeline of what make us who we are today, make you who you are today, while right here it's kind of like in a stagnant mindset because of what they keep doing, the counteractions, and keep giving you stuff on this technology and confusing you. But you are part of a movement. You have to figure out which movement you really representing. And that's why this feminine movement is overshadowing all movements, because they don't want the power of the people to really move forward. So they want to stagnate it. So then we had the 80s. And like I said, we're going to go back into each one, and I'm going to really go in depth about it, but I'm just going to break it down. So we had the 50s, which was the civil rights, beginning of the civil rights movement. We had the 60s, which was the hippie movement, okay, and the civil rights movement, but it was the hippie movement, okay, because they had to crush the civil rights movement. Then we had the 70s, jobs, and giving you planting seeds, okay. This is the time when they was really planting seeds in the movement itself. Okay, and then they gave the women's rights. The 80s was the rise of music and entertainment. The 80s was the time to be in, folks, because this was the rise of everything. This when everything was just getting power. Drugs on all levels, where you was doing coke, you were doing dope, you was whatever you doing, you was doing meth, you was doing weed. But they also gave you drugs, prescription drugs. And prescription drugs is the most scariest drugs because those are legal drugs. And when you have legal drugs, folks, those drugs itself is what makes the world go round. What up, Zaddy? How you do, baby? Glad to see you here. And so when we talk about the rise of music and entertainment, they had to dumb us out. They dumbed us out with the drugs and AIDS. So in the 80s came drugs and AIDS and all sorts of diseases because you had this AIDS, you had the hippie movement. So sex was just crazy, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was partying and doing drugs and just carefree. You had the disco music, and everybody was just zoned out, and they was trying to tune out the reality of the 60s and the 50s. They didn't want it no more because it was hurting them too much. They wasn't seeing the fruits of their labor. They were seeing everybody get killed, so they were just trying to keep their eyes closed and party. Oh wait, this was the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Not, you know what I'm saying, partying, like you don't see nothing. Like not like nothing's really happening. You know, you doing your drugs and you not focused because you trying to tune out. This was the 80s and this was the 80s. And so they had to find the right entertainment to keep this right here going through the future. So they can dumb us down, so they can keep the movements of the past on ice. They had to incubate the movement because they did not want the future to be a revolution. So what happened in the 90s? People they took off their glasses and they said, we still gotta fight. We gotta fight. Don't get caught up. We gotta fight. And so apartheid, it ended. Oh shit. Nelson Mandela, free. Like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? The world's changing? No, because revolution was still here. Although the people was partying and bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And they was getting high and they were drugged up, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't seeing nothing. You know what I'm saying? They was like Stevie Wonder. They was dumbed out, you feel me? The people was dumbed out in the 80s. They had the drugs, they had the money, they had the president in place to make everything happen. Reaganomics. Oh man, it was coming through. It was coming through and everybody was excited and happy and the entertainment world was woo. They was eating. But like I said, the 90s came, and then that's when it shifted to another direction. They made it more so now, it was hands-on. They made it where, well, this wasn't in place, but they made it where technology was right in your hands. The World Wide Web, we had the computers. Okay, you had the big computer screens, you know what I'm saying? This is the tablet. This came down the road, but this is the only thing I have right now. So they had the computers. I mean computer babies, the beginning of the computers, you know what I'm saying? Me, where we sitting there learning how to do all this stuff. Coding at that time, you know, it was coding. You know what I'm saying? We had to put on all these codes to get on the computer. And we was doing coding. They took that out. But anyway, we get into that. And so it was the rise of internet and communication. And we was able to, at first I was doing pen pals, you know what I'm saying? We was writing to each other and mailing it overseas, and I had pen pal buddies and stuff like that. But now they gave us the internet. And instead of you writing, you can type. And you can talk to anybody over here. Now you got friends here, you got friends there, you got friends all over the place, you know what I'm saying? And this is what's the problem now, because now we got too many friends that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Zadi, yo, shout out to Zadi. I believe she's in UK. You know what I'm saying? Now, see how we can wake up in the morning, we can type and talk to each other? Hope everything's going good with you too. The late 80s and 90s were the best time to be, that's what I'm saying. The late 80s and 90s was the best time to be alive. And that's really the facts. Because this was the time where we really can tune out the world, yo. The world was able to be tuned out. You just didn't want to deal with the politics. You didn't want to deal with the revolution. You didn't want to deal with the discuss of what was going on with hate and racism and segregation and just whatever. So you got your food stamps. As long as you had your little paper money, as long as you can put some food on the table, as long as you could turn on the radio was popping. Yo, radio stations. Yo, man, you was good. When you had a good radio station, you can put that radio on all day. And when you had good DJs on all day long, you can tune out the world and you can. I want everybody to put your two ears right here and close real hard so you don't hear nothing. That's when they got the earphones, the Walkman. You understand? So now you can have your own radio station in your hand, so you can tune out the world. This time the 80s was really popping. It was so important for the 80s because the 80s was the time for us to get away from the revolution. They know their system. They are great at what they do. And I'm challenging you. This is a challenge. But we're going to get into the challenge a little bit down the road. I got you, though. I love it. I love it. Because I want revolution back. See, you know what I'm saying? So I love it. See, I love Putin because Putin keeps you on your toes. You know what I'm saying? Putin keeps you on your toes. Because Putin ain't with this American system, and neither should we. I'm breaking it down why we shouldn't be with this American system. And all these folks across the world is like, yo, America, take off the glasses and wake up. Take off the earplugs, wake up. There's a lot going on in the world. You're not looking at your timeline. Maybe I have to drop a bomb on you to wake you back up. So now, let's keep us alert. You know what I'm saying? Should we be alert? We should be more alert on the fact that our people on the inside is dumbing us down to a point where we're not on point with what's going on the inside, where outside folks have to remind us on the inside, like, yo, do y'all not know where you living? Do you not know that you still are slaves? Do you not know that your country is doing this? Do you not know that your country is the biggest human sex trafficking business in the world? Do you not know? So, technically, we need Putins, because if we didn't have Putins, do that for 5 minutes. Close your ears so tight that you don't hear nothing, and just look around wondrously, like aimlessly, at anything and everything for no reason. And that's how we've been moving for the last 25 years. Okay, sweetheart? So I love them. I love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. I love them. I'm sorry, sweetie, I ain't catch that one. I've been with you, but I ain't catch that one. I believe that two were wrapped up in cotton wool. Yo, I didn't catch that, yo. Because I probably was doing something, but I didn't catch what you were saying. Remind me what you was talking about, yo, because it might have been funny. So, so we at the 90s, okay? Remind me what you talked about. I apologize. So we at the 90s. So now we have World Wide Web. We have internet. We have the Gulf Wars, though. We have wars still. See, this is what I'm saying. Why they giving you all this dumb down stuff? War's still going on. Conquering is still going on. Oil snatching is still going on. They still taking what they want all over across the world. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. But as long as we dumbed out, we're not paying attention. As long as you are dumbed out, we are dumbed out, they got the world. Because as long as we out there trying to write the best music and put the best songs out there to entertain the folks, as long as we trying to get into the entertainment and we saying we being blackwashed and we being blackballed and we not getting in the industry and we want the same pay, and as long as we fighting the music and entertainment and we not fighting the revolution and we not being part of the revolution, we not acknowledging what's going on across the world, we not understand what BRICS is, we not putting together our own economy, we not putting together our own commerce. As long as we not doing these things, as long as we can be just trying to put together the best song, to be the best artist so we can get the most awards, they got us. And that's where we at. So we went from the 90s to 2000s and hip hop. See, 90s was about hip hop and activism. Al Sharptons, all your Farrakhan's, all your activists was all out there. They was leading the people. They was leading the people. Leading the people where is the question. Because they still alive. Al Sharpton and your Farrakhan's, they still alive, and the people are still alive. And where are the people at right now? Because they've been abandoned, they've been left astray. We had the Million Men's March in 2000s. The 2000 years came in. No, the Million March took place in '95. That's what I'm saying. It was all about activism. So the 1990s was all about activism. With hip hop was actually a form of activism. Hip hop was, see, this is what I'm saying. We are very creative because we figured a way out into the industry, and then we used the hip hop, we used the entertainment industry of the 80s, and we became activists using our music, using our lyrics. And they said, get these cats up out of here, man. And they start busting our entertainers out to make them shift from being activists to be like this. And so when hip hop became like this, you know what I'm saying? When hip hop became like this and became a party thing, and now about that, the activism stuff, don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. When it went from that to like, yeah, Herbie Hancock and, you know, the party shit and breaking the boogaloo. You know what I'm saying? When they went to the boogaloo dancing and all that other shit, that's when it got dumbed out. But hip hop was activism. Hip hop was our road back to the movement. Hip hop was our road back to international movement. But they said we cannot allow that. So dumb it down, dumb it down, dumb it down. And they needed nothing but dumbers. The dumb and dumbers to be part of hip hop. They need dumb and dumbers to be part of the music industry. And so they looked and seeked for dumb and dumbers. They went into the school system. They seen who was elite people with the school writing music and talent shows. Trust me, they had scouts at talent shows looking for talent because they needed political dumbers. Okay, political hip hop dumbers, the ones who can dumb it down. They was looking for this shit. Don't believe me? Look at Kamala Harris. What does she have on her stage? Nothing but hip hop and people to dumb you down. This is real, folks. I'm not making this up. I'm being 100% real. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. You guys just received the message. I'm delivering the message. They dumbed us down because we was fighting the power that be. Fight the power. You got to fight the power that be. Understand? We was fighting the power. But they dumbed us down. And they said those people who was trying to fight the power, they never gonna make no money. Then it's all about this money. It's about this money. Throw it in the air, throw it in the air, throw it in the air, throw it in the air. And so then the women was like, we want to be part of it too. What can we do? And said, shake your ass, shake your ass, shake your ass. And so now the women shaking their ass because they trying to be down with it. You know what I'm saying? They trying to be down with it. Well, I'm not spitting nothing like, you know, on that level like that. But you know what I'm saying? I can dance. Look at me. I can dance. And so yeah, throw them in the video. And so now we have all these model chicks. We have all these shaking, the girls shaking their ass, and all the women who actually have something to say. They was writing poems. They was deeply rooted. They was growing up in the same lifestyle that I grew up in, meaning they wanted to be activists, and they knew that they could, but they had a little shyness to them. They didn't have the curves. They didn't have the body. They didn't have the look. They didn't have the weaves. So they didn't get the shine. And so then they said, you know what? Maybe if I dumb myself down and maybe rip off a shirt and show some skin, and maybe I show some more skin, and maybe if I show some more skin, this is what the women had to do. We had to show some more skin, and now the women showing skin. See, showing skin. Look, same shirt, but you see the difference? Showing skin. Same shirt, showing cleavage. Dumb you down. They dumbed you down. And as long as they can keep you dumbed down, understand, as long as they can keep you dumbed down, same shirt. But as long as they can make you do various things to dumb it down, folks, and dance, you are no longer the activist, you're the entertainer. So the 2000s was the time frame in which it went to a social movement. Everything went to social movements. The 2000s and 2020s is all about the social movement of dumbing down the whole activism and getting rid of it, wiping it out completely. They trying to wipe out activism completely. Understand? And this is the scary thing about it. your Al Sharptons, your Farrakhans, and all the leaders that is in that age bracket is almost out the picture. Okay, almost out the picture. By 2030, done. 2030 is 5 years from now. Farrakhan and Al Sharpton will not be a vessel in this movement no more. This is their last stands. This is why I'm doing this rally, because this is their last stance before they bye-bye. And I ain't saying, deceased. I'm talking about just out the picture completely. They have like 3 to 5 years before they are done. And this movement, this rally right here, is to bring that last wave back one last time. To give these men the opportunity one last time to shine, one last time to make a point, one last time before their time is done. This men's rally is set for them. Our brothers before us. Our brothers that really was in the mix, that got dumbed out and dumbed down. They got dumbed out and dumbed down because the people couldn't keep it going. The people could not keep the movement going. So they too got, it was a wave of dumbing. It was a tsunami. Understand? It was a tsunami. And what can you do? You can hold it. You can hold it up, but so long before the tsunami comes crumbling down on you. So Al Sharpton and Farrakhan got caught with the tsunami of dumbing. They got dumbed out because we, the people, could not we couldn't resist the wave. We couldn't resist the wave. We couldn't resist the wave. And now, what's the wave? LGBT. The waves now is the women's rights. And they go on full-fledged. They trying to make this go into the 2030s, the 2040s. This is the new movement. Gay rights, female rights. Because men is not standing up no more. Men is like this. Men is talking about they don't want to go out to DC and cause no trouble. This is what they saying. I heard them say to me personally, "Oh no, I don't want to go out there and get in no trouble with no police." So what's black power? Black power is getting in trouble with the police. When do we have black power when we don't get in trouble with the police? When is there ever black power when we don't get in trouble with the police? It's not black power unless you get in trouble with the police. You heard? It's not black power until you get cuffs on your ass. You ain't black power. I got locked up going to a rally. They see my stuff and they just like, yo, oh hell no. They picked the fight with me. That's how I got. It's one of my tattoos I got on my face right here. Somewhere right here. Scrape my face in the ground. Call it a tattoo. They call it the police tattoo. The police tattoos when they take you and they grind your face in the ground. All right, folks. That's the police tattoo. They give little tattoos when they got your face in the ground. They sandblasting you with the fucking concrete. You ain't black power till you get cuffs on your ass, niggas. Otherwise, you frauds. So, right now, 2020 is activism hustling. Okay, in the 60s, 70s, it was activists. 80s, real activists. In the 2000s, with all the social media shit, you have activist hustlers. Activism hustling. Hustling activism. Okay, that's what you have now. And all you do is you sit back and you turn your phone and you sit back and you watch hustlers hustling activism. You have hustlers hustling activism. That's what you have right now. You have nothing but older cats that's sitting back that has information, have notes from before, from all these other folks from before, and they have their leaflets from before. They have all their information from before, and they're taking all their information from before and rewording it to for themselves to spit to you, because most of you really don't know this information. Most of you really didn't research this stuff. Most of you was too busy in the 80s listening to music and watching entertainment and not being focused on activism. So the hustlers, seeing this and they running wild with it. And this is called your activist hustling. And that's what you have right now. So social media heads, podcasters, realizing that I could do better just talking about situations and going and find out who's talking about what and take their key points and run with it. That's what you have right now. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to 1950. Let's go back to 1954. That year of Brown vote versus the Board education. Okay, Brown vote versus Board education. That was somewhat the sparking of the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? When all those kids got into school, they say, "Hey, we going to school with the white people. Look at us. We going to school with the white people." And so they was like, you know what? We got something here. Let's run with it. So education was big in the 50s. You know what I'm saying? Getting your kids educated, getting your kids to look like their adversaries, getting their kids to look like what's on the other side, having them comb their hair, brush their hair. Where my brush at? So in the 50s, you had so many guys who was trying to have their hair look straight. You know what I'm saying? They would have their hair looking straight. They was brushing their hair. They was combing their hair. They was slicking their hair down. They were doing everything they could do to have their hair look silky white. Okay? That was what the 50s was about. Look at Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Look at Malcolm X. Look at Little. And everyone was trying to have that look. Everyone was trying to have that look in the 50s. That clean look. That clean look. Okay, folks, I'm trying to get you where we're supposed to be at right now. So in the 50s, when people was actually fighting for what they believed in, and I'm talking about your black folks, when they was fighting for what they believed in, understand what I'm saying? That's when the world was great, because there was fighting going on. When there's no fighting going on and there's no struggles, you got to ask what's going on. But when people see struggles and they fighting on it, that's when the world is really trying to make a change. Trying to make a change. And these black folks was trying to make a change, and that was very powerful. That was impactful. That was very spiritual, when we was fighting for what we believe was right. And what we believe was right was right. We needed to be properly educated. We needed our health right. We needed to have good food in our communities. We needed housing. We needed all this stuff. But the only thing was, we could have did it, we could have been doing the little things for ourselves. We could have been playing our parts. We could have been cleaning our communities. We could have been keeping our communities kept up to par. We could have been doing a whole lot of little things in between. But, you know what I'm saying, we didn't have right leadership. So now we talk about 55, the Montgomery bus boycott. Oh, we need something bigger than this election, this education. We need to show them that we about that life. We need to show them that we about power. We need to show them that we about economics. So what did they go do? What did they go do? They had a bus boycott. They got up with Martin Luther King, right? And they organized a bus boycott. And what this bus boycott did was show the people in power that, their dollar do count. And once they showed them that their dollar did count, it gave them motivation. They did that for 13 months, you heard? So now they want to do a march on DC because, we marching and protesting really has some type of impact. That's what they believe. So they believe that there was an impact. And so with that impact, what did they do? With that impact, they basically say, you know what? Let's make a difference. Let's go show our power to DC. Instead of showing the power to the people in the communities and building, well, let's take it to DC and show them like we have the powers in numbers. And so when they show power in numbers, it put fear in the minds of those people in power. At the same time, it made us feel a need to constantly protest because, you know what I'm saying, it just felt good just to be marching and protesting, I guess. I don't know what that was all about. I guess they really like, I guess they like walking at the time. I guess they really did like to walk. So they had protest after protest. They had the Selma March. And that's what they were doing all throughout the 50s and 60s. They was marching and protesting all the way to death. They marched and protest to death, okay, folks? They marched and protest to death. Shout out to them. So like I said, they marched and they protest until they came to a halt. And what do I mean by a halt? All the marching and protesting that they did, they came to a halt. And the reason why I said they came to a halt is because they didn't have no more leadership because their leaders got killed off. And so then they had to go to the leadership of the white power that they marched to. And so they got jobs. And so as they got their jobs, then became the second part of the timeline. And so once they came to that halt, once they got to that halt, where they didn't know what to do no more because they ain't have no more power. When I say they ain't have no more power, their power was in the people. The power was in their leaders. And so they didn't have no leaders no more. And so what happens to the leaders? The leaders now. I'm going to give you part two. Part two comes 9:30. It's part one. Peace.